Yes, yes, the Casanovians. Yes, yes, the Casanovians. I've gone for the John Lennon look this evening. I hope you like it. And I've also got a parrot there. Look at the beak on that. Right, this is actually going to be a super important live stream, so strap yourselves in nicely because I want to blow your minds. I actually think it's important, like when you step onto the mic and do a stream. I actually think it's quite useful to set an intention. Like what do I want you to get out of this stream? Like what's the intention behind the words here? And honestly, I think the intention for this is I want you to leave this stream feeling fucking excited. Like fucking excited. That's how I want you to feel about learning the skill of daytime approach. And I've been meditating on this idea recently. I just spoke about it with some of the guys in the Entourage. And I wanted to share it with you because I do think grappling with this idea is going to make the process of learning daytime approach so much easier, like so much more mentally manageable. Because I think for a lot of guys who get started, especially with something like daytime approach, you just don't know what you don't know. And I think that one of my favorite quotes is from a guy called Seth Godin. If you don't know who Seth Godin is, he's like one of the fathers of modern day marketing. And one of his quotes is, marketing ruins everything. Okay, marketing ruins everything. So I think so many guys who want to learn daytime approach have been dramatically fucked over by charlatan marketing. You know, like the whole American thing, like, oh, 5 easy tricks to get any woman into bed. Just say this, like use these lines, use these routines, and you can have any woman that you want. That is complete garbage, by the way. You can't get any woman, right? I'm sorry to pop your childhood dreams, but you can't have every woman, right? You can have your women. And that, for me, is the whole point of learning this skill, right? It's to find your women. Yeah, you're not going to be every woman's type. The goal is not to be universally attractive. The goal is to get the skill, and then when you find your women, you know how to approach, how to converse, how to carry a conversation, have the seductive stillness, have that grounded gravitas. Like with the right women, it's easy. But what I think is so important to understand is something like daytime approach. This really is the Jiu-Jitsu of social mastery. I think something like Jiu-Jitsu is the easiest analogy to use. Because think of it like this, right? Imagine you want to become a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, yeah? You already know what's in front of you. You understand that it's probably going to take about a decade of your life to ascend the totem pole of different color belts. You know it's going to be a lot of trial and error. You know you're going to get your ass whooped. You know it's going to be difficult. You know it's not going to be easy, but that's the point, right? Because once you've become a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, you've achieved a level of status that most men are never going to experience. Like, you don't get into Jiu-Jitsu because it's going to be easy, right? It's not like 5 easy tricks to become a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Like, the guys who are serious about becoming black belts in Jiu-Jitsu, they don't want easy modes because it's a filtering system, right? The guys who are prepared to go all in with something like Jiu-Jitsu, they by default are going to remove the competition because 99% of people on this planet, they're not going to go all in, right? They're not going to go the full way. So there's a level of like royalty which is attached to people who have this like black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, right? And it's the same with daytime approach. I think that if we were to approach daytime approach with the mindset of, I want to become a black belt in this social sport, then I think it changes the learning process because like you might have felt this yourself, right? Maybe at one point when you were completely new to call approach, maybe you went out and you tried to approach. And let's say that your approaches just weren't as good as the videos that you'd seen online. Or maybe you heard people online saying things like, oh, cold approach is easy. yeah, come along and do my 3-day day game boot camp. And after this, you're going to have all the women you could possibly need. And it's like, no, that is complete fucking garbage. Like, you're not going to master the skill of daytime approach in 3 days, right? So this is why what we do in the Entourage, which is my private coaching community, is we make people aware at the start that, first of all, this is going to be the hardest skill that you're ever going to learn in your life, right? This is going to demand everything and more. This is a complete reincarnation of yourself. So if you're not fully committed, then for fuck's sake, don't work with me. Don't join the Entourage, because we need people who understand this is about becoming a black belt in daytime approach, right? Like, just becoming this like cutthroat killer who just wants to be a social savage, and who understands it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort. You're going to go through a shitload of rejections. You're going to go through so many difficulties, like overcoming like your perceived lack of self-worth, which has haunted you from a child. Like, I don't think people truly understand what is required of them to actually get this skill down. And something that I hopefully make people aware of is, when you're first learning something like daytime approach, for the first year especially, you're doing it for the skill and not for the women, right? You're doing it for the skill and not for the women, because once you've got the skill, you can get dates on demand. You can attract wife-worthy women. You're going to be going on dates and doing fucking all sorts with women who guys are going to look at you and think, how the fuck did he get her, right? But for the first year, it's so important that I would say you stay single. We had a new guy who joined the Entourage recently, and he's not completed his one-to-one immersion with me yet. We're going to be doing that in London very soon. But before he's even done his immersion, he's already been out there in London. He's already met a woman during the daytime from approached her outside of one of the tube stations, got her number, texted her back and forth. They set up a date, they went on a date, and they had a magical evening together, right? This was before, he's not even done an immersion yet, like no immersion whatsoever, purely through the association. Like we call it the Entourage effect. It's actually scary how effective it is. As soon as guys join, before they've even done the immersion, this feeling of aliveness washes over them. So traditionally, most guys who join the Entourage now, they sign up for a full year. Okay, so when you join the Entourage, you can either sign up for 1 month or for a year. And what I've noticed is the guys who sign up for a full year, they are all in, right? They are all in with the skill. And what was interesting was the new guy who joined, we'll call him Travis. I had a call with him the other day, and he said to me that if he was doing this on his own, without any guidance, without any support, without any like-minded community, without an immersion to look forward to, and the Renaissance retreats that we hold as well. So we have events throughout the year, 5-day in-person retreats. So not only do our guys get individually tailored one-to-one coaching with me, they also get invitations to like worldwide meetups. You probably saw the Barcelona videos where it was me and a bunch of other Entourage guys crushing it in Barcelona. So like, you know, the Entourage is designed in a particular way where it's basically impossible for you not to succeed as long as you do the work. Yeah, as long as you go with the right mindset. Like a personal trainer can't lift the weight for you, right? I can give all the motivation in the world, but if someone wants to stuff the face with fucking, crispy creme at midnight, then that's on them. But point being is, he said to me on the call, if I was doing this on my own and I met this beautiful woman, I had this magical experience, I actually think my motivation would be diluted. So like knowing now that he's put his money on the line, we've got the immersion still to come, he's got the retreats to look forward to. It's like something shifts, because now it's like, right, most normal guys would just leave it there, right? He's found a great girl. He can probably continue, seeing her, but it's like, he wants more than that, because I made him aware on that first consultation call. I was like, Travis, listen, this is about prioritizing the skill over the women, right? I've seen this happen so many times with guys where maybe they go out and maybe they've done like 50 approaches, and maybe the 49th approach ends up being one of those cosmic connections with an amazing woman. What often happens is the guy will then sink into a relationship with this woman, usually from a place of scarcity. He's like, oh my God, for the first time ever, this has actually worked. Now I've found a woman who likes me. Oh, I don't want to throw this away. But I actually think that's the worst thing you can do, because if you get a woman before you get the skill, you still remain in a position of scarcity, because you don't know if you can replicate that. And this is why abundance is so important, right? Abundance is not always having, it's knowing you can have. So by prioritizing the skill over the women for the first year, then you actually form healthier relationships in the long term. Because I think the guy who knows he has options but still chooses her, those are the healthiest relationships. And I know from my experience that most of my early relationships, they were based around scarcity. Yeah, my loyalty was based around scarcity. I was like, I don't really want her, but I just want someone. So before actually mastering this skill, and by the way, I'm a massive work in progress as well. And that's why I continue to push myself. Like, you've probably seen the Oslo videos that I posted recently. Like, my mindset, yeah, like becoming a black belt, like this, like the Jiu-Jitsu of social skills. I've got this obsession with progression. Like, I never want to feel like I'm staying comfortable. I never want to feel like I'm just coasting. Like, I've got a community of guys, like social savages, and it's like we're all pushing each other. It's to an extreme level as well, right? The guys who get, I would say, attracted to my content, to my style of coaching, who are considering joining my network, like these are not normal people, right? These are like extreme individuals. This is why traditionally I work with entrepreneurs and business owners, because like the spirit of entrepreneurship, it attracts a certain type of individual. Like, to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner, to reject the 9-to-5, to reject the programming, to say fuck you to the great sedation. It's like, you have to be a certain type of individual. So I've noticed, like, the guys who I work with, the entrepreneurs, the business owners, they're usually making about 6 figures a year. It's almost like they get it. It's like they've self-selected that they're prepared to do what it takes to get this skill down. And they understand as well, it goes deeper than just talking to women. This is why I would describe it as the Jiu-Jitsu of social mastery, because like, I don't do Jiu-Jitsu. I do Muay Thai, right? I do Muay Thai in Bangkok. But I would assume, and if you're a Jiu-Jitsu guy, please let me know in the comments below if I'm right about this. But I would assume that to level up in Jiu-Jitsu, you need more than just like one move, right? You probably need to know a lot about how like the body is positioned, or, you know, reading your opponent, or like being susceptible to energy and like very like fine movements, and having like a different array of skills, and knowing like, right, what does the moment want here? And like, even though like all grappling matches might be the same, they're all kind of different in a way, because you've got a different opponent who's got different strengths, and you probably need to like study your opponent as well. So like, point being, the skill of daytime approach, it's got all of these little skills that sort of like branch off it, yeah? So like, most people just see a guy going over and talking to a woman, right? But to actually get to a level where you can see a woman, remove the hesitation, remove the second guessing, see her, experience success in advance, let your legs start walking, your mouth start talking, like all of the nuanced skills, like overcoming the spotlight effect, overcoming the fear of judgment, learning how to carry a conversation, learning how to not reject yourself on the woman's behalf, getting yourself into better shape, learning more about frequency and energy. So maybe before you go out to approach, you've got like a little routine in place. Like, maybe you do martial arts, maybe you get a cold shower, maybe you record yourself out in public, maybe you, I don't know, do some like little dance at home before you go out there. Maybe you send voice messages to people. It's just like, you know, I've spent over $100,000 now in my own self-education. Like I've flown to Dubai for private masterminds. I've invested in like 5-figure business mentors. Like I've done the whole shebang, and nothing has developed me as much as this skill, because cold approach holds a mirror up to who you are, right? And a lot of guys, they look away. Because sure, it's easy to focus on, your next LinkedIn post or your sales calls, or maybe I should tweak my funnel. But really, I learned this from a good German friend of mine. He said, never judge a man until you've seen him in sets. Yeah, like cold approach is the modern day rite of passage. We don't have to go into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights anymore and return as men. Everything is easy. Everything is comfortable. We live in a society that wants to keep you as a spectator in your own life. Yeah, this is what I call the great sedation. And this is what cold approach is. It's a reactionary movement to a society that wants to keep you static. Be a good boy, work your 9 to 5, ask for permission when you're allowed to go for a shit. Like, it's more than just going over to a woman. It's more than just for the women. Of course, getting dates on demand with wife-worthy women, it's not going to fucking hurt. But at the end of the day, for me, this skill is much deeper than just talking to women. I think, going to all of these places, like obviously I got back from Oslo, and, being in an environment like that, I was speaking with the Entourage guys when I was in Barcelona as well. It's like, almost like just in my mind thinking, the levels to this game are just crazy. So constantly like pushing ourselves. I started cold approach in Leeds in 2020 during the pandemic, and I had no idea, like literally no idea what I was doing. I was watching YouTube videos. I was trying to learn the whole like London day game model. I was just an insecure kid. I was an insecure kid who really just wanted to feel important, who wanted to feel wanted, who wanted to feel as though his presence meant something to somebody. Like my interpretation for the meaning of life is the meaning of life for me is the fulfillment of a promise, right? I believe before I got put on this earth, I made a pact with God, and it was to help a generation of men live a life free from bullshit. That's the mantra. That's the energy that I move with. And hopefully if you resonate with my stuff, that's the thing that lights a fire up your ass as well. It's freedom from bullshit. It's being able to go after what you want rather than settling for what you think you can get. All of the fuck ups that you've made, whoever you've been in the past, maybe the shame and the regret and the guilt that you've got when you look back at things that could have been, it's a fresh start. It's an opportunity for personal renaissance. It's an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to forge a new identity through the fires of adversity. Much like when I first went to Bangkok and I started learning Muay Thai, like I was absolutely shitting it. It was this leap into the unknown. I had all of those doubts. And I think something that is important for me is just this constant progression as a coach, as a leader, as a man, as somebody who's got some bit of influence in the world, is like, I don't want to stop, because like achieving this level of mastery through a discipline like day game, it requires everything. So like, let's not just like rest on our laurels and talk about the good old days. Like I see this online with other supposed coaches. It's like they get lazy, right? They stop posting quality footage of them out in the field. They stop testing themselves. And for me, it's like, I want to keep pushing, right? Let's go to Oslo. Let's play this on difficult mode. Like Oslo was one of the most challenging cities that I've been to in regards to daytime approach. I really had to learn more about versatility, and all that's going to do is it's going to make me more nuanced as a coach. Like, let's say, for example, I'm working with a client in Norway and he wants me to teach him, like do a one-to-one immersion with him in Norway. Right, now I understand the playing field better. Now I understand how Norwegian women work. When I lived in Brazil, I was spending time with, I would say, naturals, like Brazilian dudes, where this is actually a really interesting little thought experiment that I think I've spoke about before, but this will be really useful for you, is I think what happens with a lot of guys is once you become aware of the discipline of day game, your actions become predetermined by the pickup paradigm. So what that means in plain fucking English is once you become aware of day game, you start to act more like a day gamer, right? And this is not a bad thing at the start, but like realistically, like no one really goes over to someone like, hi, excuse me, I just wanted to say, hi, this is really random, but what I noticed about you, like nobody fucking says that, right? But it's okay at the start. It's okay at the start. But what I learned from like spending time in Rio, when I was living in Italy, the time that I've spent in Spain, really observing these guys who know nothing about cold approach, but have all of the skills associated with cold approach. And what that really did was it helped me start to, I would say, hypernaturalize my, we'll call it, game. Yeah, it's like being surrounded by people who'd already internalized the skill. It enabled me to be like, right, what am I doing here? What am I doing wrong? Oh, like my conversations, they seem a little bit clunky. They seem a little bit platonic. They seem a little bit just like gay best friend type of vibes. So like, by going to all of these different locations, learning from everybody, like learning through osmosis, it's like I've soaked up so much knowledge, which then I pass on to the guys that I work with. Hopefully I pass on these streams as well. But like, it's hard to describe it, but like, I'm just obsessed with it. And hopefully the energy that I feel within is like externalized and transmuted into you. Like, it's not just about day game. It's not like cold approach. It's like, I see this as like an art form. And when I'm coaching my guys, when I'm making videos, when I'm talking on these streams, it's all art to me. Like there's a level of artistry, not like pickup artistry. I call it anti-game artistry, because I really do believe this is not about learning anything new. It's relearning the things that we already know, right? It's stripping back the layers of social conditioning, connecting with your most authentic self, and understanding the right women, they'll make it easy for you. And I think this is probably one of my biggest realizations from learning this skill. Like, yes, it is an elite skill, but once you've got to a level of proficiency, you're no longer going out there for the maybe girls. You're going out there to find your fuck yeses. And if she's not a fuck yes, she's a fuck no. What I would suggest is once you finish this stream, watch my most previous stream. In that stream, I outline my anti-game artistry system. So this is the system that I teach my guys. It's a system that I've internalized for myself. And it really goes deep on, I would say, the lesser known knowledge in regards to daytime approach. But I think that going to all of these different places, learning from people who are better than me, comparing myself to other people. This is one of those, like, I would say more taboo things. Like you've probably got family members who say things like, oh, don't compare yourself to other people. Comparison is a thief of joy. Well, I think that's bullshit. I think as men, we inherently derive our sense of status through comparison. So I think you should compare yourself to other people. Like in the Entourage, for example, we have got social savages. We've got 6-figure entrepreneurs. We've got 7-figure entrepreneurs. We've got guys who are crushing it in all different domains. And, you know, every day I check in with the WhatsApp group chat and people are just doing shit. Right, we've got guys all over the world, traveling the world, going to different cities, like linking up together, fucking teaching their non-cold approach friends how to cold approach. Every time I check the WhatsApp chat, it's like another win. Like one of our new guys, he went out today, closed a girl inside of a coffee shop. He's like, dude, I just never would have done this before, but now I've got this, like I've got this accountability. Like I'm watching other guys out there in the field. It makes me want to get better. It makes me want to do things that I wouldn't have otherwise done. So like, I think that level of comparison is so necessary. I heard a really good example of this. It's like, imagine you wanted to be a pro bodybuilder and imagine you wanted to be like the number one bodybuilder. Well, the only way for you to become number one is by beating everybody else. And the only way you win is by having a better body. And I think the only way to know if you have a better body is through comparison, right? So all this like feel good shit, like, oh, don't compare yourself, you know, you're on your own journey, oh, you know, whatever the fuck people say. No, you should compare yourself because people will give you a baseline for what is to be expected. And I think you've probably heard the quote, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, I've actually learned that quote is bullshit as well. You're the average of the 5 people who you compare yourself to. That was a huge game changer for me. You become the average of the 5 people who you compare yourself to. And this is why the internet is so cool, because you can literally find digital mentors, like select 5 people who you want to emulate. Of course, don't allow admiration to become imitation. I don't want you to be like little midget versions of me, just like saying the same shit that I say. But like, find people who you resonate with. You only need, let's say, 5 of them, and then compare yourself to those people, because we become what we surround ourselves with, we become what we practice, but most importantly, we become what we compare ourselves to. So I would say that, and this is another sort of, I would say, dark social secret that not a lot of people like to admit, but it's true. You're most likely not good enough right now. And that's okay. Again, imagine you wanted to be, let's use me as an example. Imagine I wanted to be a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, right? Well, I'm not good enough for that right now. Like, I'm not good enough. Like, I couldn't fill myself with all these like feel-good affirmations or go onto Instagram for some pithy quote like, oh, we're all gonna make it, bro. But the reality is, I am not good enough. Like, this current version of me is not good enough to be a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. However, one of my favorite reframes is, we are what we pretend to be. It doesn't mean fake it till you make it. It means have a clear idea of the person you want to be. Like, what is the goal here, okay? So if the goal is to be a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, then I will pretend I'm already a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, not because I'm delusional, but because if I pretended I was a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, then my actions would align with my ambitions, right? If I was a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, what would I do? Let's just play pretend. Well, I would get my diet on point. I would stop hanging around with fucking losers. I would train religiously. In my spare time, I'd be watching like fight breakdowns. I would cut out all of the bad habits, all of the toxic influences. I would become obsessed with the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. And all of my life would revolve around Jiu-Jitsu. So do you see what I'm saying here? Like, we become what we pretend to be, right? So if you pretend to be confident, then you are by default a confident person. So if you pretend to be a multi-millionaire, then you will take the actions associated with that archetype. And this is what I did when I first started learning cold approach. I understood I was a loser. I was a complete loser. I was a low-life loser. I had erectile dysfunction. I was addicted to porn. I had £24.82 of universal credit in my bank account. But what I had was an idea, right? I accepted that my current self was not good enough, right? I wasn't good enough for the money that I wanted to be making, for the women that I wanted to be dating, and for the life that I wanted to be living. But rather than getting depressed, going online, joining some fucking black pill community, and going my own way, I decided, okay, my present moment is, my present moment is objectively shit. However, what I did was I met myself in the future. So the version of me that is speaking to you today, I met this version of myself and I reverse engineered it. And then I fell in love with a future that I hadn't yet experienced. But then I was almost remembering my future. And I just started to pretend to be that version of myself. So I got on YouTube. I started making videos. I started putting myself out there more. Whenever I had hesitation or doubt, well, boom, click upload. You know, I remember I used to go to London on the weekends because like Leeds is a small place, especially in the pandemic. On a good day in Leeds during 2020, like, you know, if you found like 5 girls outside on the street, you're having a fucking good day. So like, dude, I was obsessed with it. I went to all the major UK cities. I was hitting up fucking Cambridge, York, Manchester, Liverpool, Glasgow, Edinburgh, like everywhere. And I used to go to London on the weekends. And bear in mind, this was when I was working my 9 to 5 as well. So I would take the National Express. If you know what the National Express is, like if you know, you know, but if you're not from the UK, the National Express is like a coach service, and it's like the shittest coach service. So it would take me like 6 hours from Leeds to York. Sometimes the toilet would be broken, so I couldn't even shit. And like, because I couldn't afford the train. Like the train was like 80 quid. National Express was about 20 quid. So like I would get on that coach, long journey, get to London, do my approaches. I'd do about 80 approaches in a single weekend, and then get back about 5 a.m. on the Monday, and then get started, you know, go into work at the fucking National Railway Museum in York. I was in that job as well. Like I was editing my videos during my lunch break. We had like a library in the museum, so whenever I had free time, I would be in the library editing my videos, just like completely obsessed with this craft, because I was pretending that I was this guy, you know, this business owner, the international lifestyle, like having the skill, inspiring others. Like I remember as well, one time I was living in Leeds. I had this friend that I used to spend time with. We got quite got quite close. Like I had like a good sort of like brotherly relationship during the pandemic, which was awesome, which is kind of weird for me because I didn't really have friends growing up. Anyway, we developed a strong sort of like masculine bond. I remember walking with him one day over the bridge, which is near the water in Leeds. And I remember saying to him, and I remember this so vividly, I remember laying my future down as we walked over the bridge. He was like, what's the plan for the channel? Because at the time I had like 20 subscribers. He was like, you know, like what's the plan? Like what do you envision happening with this? I was like, dude, the way that I see it is like, you know, I'm gonna be running these like fucking boot camps all over the world. I'm gonna have a community. I'm gonna have a network. You know, I'm gonna like go all these places. The YouTube channel is gonna fucking blow up. I'm gonna, you know, travel and make videos like all around the world, inspire people, and then maybe get recognized on the street sometimes. It's like all of that shit happened. Like it all happened. Because it started with an idea. I made my actions align with my ambitions. And the reason why I'm narrating this is because like the way you start isn't the way you finish, right? I was just like an insecure kid who had an idea. And like just this notion of like being obsessed with the skill, treating it like a martial art, like the Jiu-Jitsu of social skills. Like it's okay if you suck at the moment. Right? It's all right if you've gone out there, you've done 10 approaches and all the women flaked on you. It's all right if you've gone out there and you've done 100 approaches and you keep getting like a rejection or a funny look or whatever. Like it's okay at the start. You do need to take your licks. Obviously, at some point, you need to reflect on what you're doing and be like, right, is this me? Or like maybe you need to change your location. Maybe you need to get into better shape. Maybe you need to wear better clothes. Maybe you need to, I don't know, fucking work on your conversation skills. Maybe you need to make your conversations last longer. Maybe you're talking too fast. Maybe your eye contact shit. Like there's loads of things that you can tweak. But like it should be fun because like the desired destination is right. I want to get this down. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes. I understand it's going to be difficult. And like, I think that's the whole point of this stream is like, it is going to be difficult. And that's the point because very few men are prepared to do what it takes to become a black belt in this social sport. So every approach that you're doing, you are investing into the identity of the man who you want to embody. And even for the guys in the Entourage, like, you know, the guys in the Entourage, these are extreme individuals who really are taking this to another level. And, you know, we understand the game that we're playing. And I think that, you know, once you understand this is an extreme sport, like we are trying to become like black belts, like almost like uncharted territory, just like pushing it so hard. It's just like, I don't know, I just think that it makes it a lot more manageable for the mind that, you know, if you going out there on a weekend and, you know, you might not get the results that you want and that's okay, like it's fine. But I think more guys need to understand that the art of daytime approach, like social mastery, social skills in general, like it's such a deep game. It's like an elite level skill. But I think for whatever reason, guys don't really associate it like that. They think, oh, you know, I've watched a few infield, or I should be able to do this. I think guys have got like a lot of ego attached as well to being able to attract women. But like, leave all that shit at the door, right? This is an elite skill. If you're already going out there, you're already taking action. Maybe you're already getting results and going on dates. It's like, dude, you're already an elite operator, right? Like if you can go out, approach a woman, stone cold sober, get her contact details, take her on a date, like go the whole way with that date. It's like, dude, you're already operating in like the top 0.00001% of social skills, right? So like you're already dominating, but just don't coast, like don't get stagnant, like just constantly, because again, it's, if you're learning this purely just for women, then okay, fair game. But if you're learning the skill for the sake of learning the skill, because you understand the deeper benefits, you understand that by immersing yourself in this skill, you develop this rock star confidence. You learn how to lead. You learn how to overcome the hesitation, the doubt, the second guessing. You learn how to be the person who people automatically want to follow. You understand that the skills you learn from cold approach can help you explode your income, make more money, because seduction is sales. If you learn the skill purely for learning the skill, in the same way that you're learning jiu-jitsu purely for the love of learning the skill and getting the black belt is a beautiful byproduct of like the blood, sweat and tears you're putting in there, then like it's not about the women anymore. It's not about what people think about you. It's like your own internal journey with yourself and like overcoming obstacles and navigating through difficult times and coming out the other side. Like my ability to handle stress now, like if it hadn't have been for Cold Approach, like I used to be so emotional. Like you can see anyway. I'm gonna start a new video series soon where essentially I'm gonna start reacting to my older infields, because I've not seen any other person online roast themselves, right? So like I'm gonna start doing that because I think it's gonna be so useful for me to almost meet myself in the past and explain to you what I would do different. Because like, again, like I was so insecure when I started. I just wanted the women to validate me. I didn't have validation as a child. I didn't have it from feminine figures. I was always craving this love and approval and admiration. And I was like, oh, Cold Approach. And like, you know, the first couple of years of me doing this, I was just an insecure mess. You know, I was obviously learning the skill, but also I was putting myself out there online as well. You know, I was getting feedback on the regular from guys who were like, oh, you're ugly, you're shit, you're a 4 out of 10 at best. This is like such a waste of time. Why are you even doing this? Like, who do you think you are? And it's like, you know, all of the stuff that I've gone through to get to where I am today, it's like this like guiding North Star that I've had. I'm like, whoa, you know, the person I am now, like I'm 28, like, you know, in 10 years time, like the type of the father that I'll be, like the masculine role model that I'll be, like, it's just crazy. And I owe it all to the skill of daytime approach. And like I was saying, like my ability to handle stress. I remember when I was living in Brazil and all of my bank cards got cancelled. I got threatened to get kicked out of my Airbnb. My phone broke. I got violently sick, and it was just an absolute nightmare. And through Cold Approach, I've learned that no matter what, I can handle it. Yeah, throw me in hell, I'll find a way to enjoy it. And that spills over into the rest of your life as well. So I do really want, well, for me anyway, I'm viewing this more as like the jiu-jitsu of social mastery, right? It's not just a skill that you're gonna learn on a weekend. This is why when guys join the Entourage, we really want them to be in the Entourage for a full year. Because most coaches in this space, you'll just do a boot camp. You'll do some bullshit 3-day boot camp. Maybe you'll get results, maybe you won't. There's no aftercare. There's no support. There's no like invitations to retreats. There's no like, you know, weekly group coaching calls. Like we've designed this system in a way where it is basically impossible for you not to succeed as long as you're prepared to do the reps, as long as you're prepared to put in the work, as long as you share the mindset that this is not day game, it's not night game, it's not fucking sunset game, it's life game. That's what this is. Yeah, it's life game. It's learning how to show up as your most authentic self, not being bothered about being attractive, but instead focusing on repulsion. Yeah, repelling people who were never your people to start with. So what I would suggest that you do now, because I appreciate this is quite like an esoteric stream, I've got lots of free courses. So at the bottom of the description, I will link Conversation Killer, which teaches you the basics of daytime approach. I'll also link my Most Fuckable Man course as well. There's a module in that course, it's titled Mindset Mastery. It's probably one of the most important videos that I've made, because that video basically teaches you how to become a new person, like how to overcome all of your limiting beliefs, how to become the version of yourself who you're proud to be, how to rewire your entire internal belief system, because it's not what you say, it's not how you say it, it's who you are when you say it. This is what this game is about. It's not chasing a goal, it's chasing an identity. It's becoming the version of yourself who can do the things that you want. So I'll link those in the description. If you've enjoyed this, then just drop it a like. That's all I ask. I give away information and I charge a fuck ton of money for implementation. So yeah, if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, I'm going to be leaving Europe for Bali very soon, which I'm really excited about. So I've got like 1 week of availability left before I set sail to foreign shores. So yeah, if anything that I've said has resonated with you, if you would like to get connected with me, if you would like to join my private community, the Entourage, and if you just want to travel the world with me, then there's like an application thing you can fill out. It's in the description. Get the free courses, like the video, and yeah, I hope that you feel excited after watching this. All right, boys, love yous. Bye.